Right, hello everyone. Who we got in chat? Alright, Azuri Enjoyer. Marlin is fucking insane, dog. Yeah, I agree. I like the hero a lot. Especially in LL. I don't know, the hero is very funny. But yeah, today I wanted to actually kind of go through some of the CC deck lists. It's actually been a while, I think, since when's the last time I think I played CC on the channel? Let me actually check. It's been a while since I've actually played CC, probably for decent reason, but let me actually see what my last CC video was. We played CC 2 weeks ago on the Four of a Kind stream. Do we do any streams recently? Played LL, played Silver Age. It's been like 2 weeks since I think I've actually touched CC, which is kind of wild. CC has like normally been my favorite format, but I don't know. It's felt like kind of a bit stale recently. So, anyways, but yeah, I wanted to take a look at the World's Deck list today. Oh boy, I can watch my favorite stream while I work. Oh, thank you, Rob. You gotta let me know when that video. Wait, is your video already out? Let me actually check. Check your videos. I thought you were working on a video recently, but I don't know if you actually put it out. I normally get notifications. Let's see. No, okay, you haven't put the video out. Cool. I'm still a good Rob fan. All right, perfect. All right, but yeah, welcome in everyone. It'll be out tomorrow. Okay, sweet. Oh, Jacob Nada says I was at Worlds. Apparently, someone won 75K. I heard something about the 75K. That's wild. Oh, your editor got sick, Rob. That makes sense. Yeah, 75K is a lot of money. I don't know if you saw that Dio game in LL in the finals. That was kind of wild. Yeah, 75K. That's a lot of games. Yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna actually go take a look at some of the deck lists recently, just to see if we can kind of observe some trends or whatever. So let me go. Navigating some of this is a little. All right, let's take a look at the World's deck list. So, I think this is there are two separate Battle Hardens from what I understand. So I think this first one, I think they title them like Revered and Reviled. I wasn't at World, so a lot of this is still a bit strange to me. Okay, so we got some Basilio, we got Marionette, Dorinthia, KO, this RKO, Syndra. So one thing that's been exciting is I was taking a look at this last night. One thing that stood out to me is I think that there are like 3 Jarls in the top 8s of these Battle Hardens at least. The Dio game was sick, and I don't think yeah, that was like disgusting. That was I supposedly from people who are attending Worlds, that was like a very common thing with that particular combo deck is that you basically just like games were basically going like 10 to 20 minutes over just because of that deck, because all of the game actions took place on one turn. So if you went to time, you just take like 30 minutes to play out your entire turn, which is kind of disgusting. Shoma keeps winning these top tier events with B tier heroes. Insane. Yeah, Shoma's like a beast. Shoma was winning with Kasai. Let's actually take a look at this deck list. It's kind of funny. I think T and I were taking a look at this one last night. It doesn't really look all that much different. I guess like the Ironsong Pride's like a little bit weird. What is this tech for actually? If there are any Kasai players in chat, what are you like running Ironsong as a 1 of 4? I'm kind of curious. You put a 1 counter on a target sword you control. Is this just for like the blood on her hands turn? Is that what it's for? Maybe that's what. Maybe it's like some kind of like weird combo kill or something. I don't really fully like. Maybe it's also for like clearing allies to gravy. I could see like a lot of potential use cases for that card. But anyways, if there are any knowledgeable Kasai experts in chat, let me know. But this doesn't look like too different from I guess a lot of Kasai lists that I think I've seen. It looks actually very similar to the speedrun I think we did on stream pretty recently. I guess the 2 Oasis is kind of neat for like verdants, but overall just looks like a pretty standard list. Yeah, let's take a look at some of the other lists. So one thing I was trying to mention was I think that Jarl in both the Battle Hardens. So how many Jarls were there? Let me actually just search Jarl on the page. We're just gonna chat about some deck lists for a little bit, and then we'll do some gameplay and stuff. But all right, so I think there were 2 Jarls in the top 8 of these 2 Battle Hardens. Was there a calling? Was there one in the calling that actually made? Or no, the calling was LO, right? Yeah, calling was LO. Tunic, Ironsong Pride, 90 reacts, no red and yellow Blade Runner. Oh yeah, I guess that is kind of interesting. I forgot about the Blade Runners. Tunic, Ironsong. Yeah. So I guess it is a little bit weird, right? Like the draw, it's still like a draw swords like style Kasai. So like you're not running like the Blade Runners and stuff, which is interesting. But yeah, two Jarls made into top 8. I think if I was taking a look at these correctly last night, I think these are both just kind of like fatigue oriented Jarls. Take a look at these. All right, so we got the Direct piles, makes sense. We got 2 Oasis, also seems reasonable. I kind of like triple Oasis, but I do think it gets a little bit clunky in certain matchups. The 2 Mangles is also a bit strange. I think I normally like cut the Mangles just into most decks. Righteous Cleansing making comeback is really cool. Oh, and this was the funniest thing: the triple Poison the Well in the board. I feel like that's too much. Rob, if you're in chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Oh yeah, one of the list is pretty aggro. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm remembering now. But this list I think is like a little bit more kind of like the fatigue style. I feel like triple poison is like maybe a bit excessive though. I still also don't really like Roiling Fissure. Like I understand like why people include it in the deck, but I'm still like just not a huge fan of this card in general. But yeah, overall nothing too weird about this list. I think the weirdest thing is honestly just the Mangles. 2 is required, 3 is fine. Okay. That makes sense. I feel like I've like 2 just because like at some point if they like start attacking you in late game, it can get clunky. Like if you have like 2 in your hand and then you just have to like block out or whatever. But yeah, overall like pretty standard Jarl list. So let's actually take a look at the more aggro Jarl list. We actually played this a little bit. If that's interesting. Where's the other one? Right, that one's down here, I think. So this one, okay, this one is like the aggro list. So triple pummel, Zealous Belting, Unforgetting Unforgiving, Ice Quakes, Icing Counters. So this is like a pretty sweet list. And then we also got like Blizzards, Rouse the Ancients. Yeah, so this one's a lot more aggro. Very cool. It's kind of interesting though, like I feel like a lot of these cards are just like not that good. But I guess if you're like trying to just like play Nasyndra's, like I feel like a lot of these cards get a lot better. Like Ice Quake is basically like on hit discard a card in Nassyndra, which is pretty cool. I've actually played this list. This actually kind of seems like a fun list. I might like load this up a bit later, mainly because I also don't want to play a ton of Marlin because I want to wait for Taylor to kind of talk about his Marlin list. But I do actually have like a Marlin list loaded up with some thoughts. All right, let's take a look at some other decks. So these are okay. So these are the Battle Hardened list. I guess is what we're really focused on. I guess we can also take a quick look at some of the LL list. So I was right again that Zen is a pretty still a pretty good deck. I think. I think Sunny's build is actually really unique. So I actually kind of want to talk about this. So I think we were talking about this like during the LL stream, but I was very tempted by the one of Red Minnowism. It's really cool to see that making an appearance. I think I've wanted to include this card in my deck, but like I've just been like not tempted for it a bunch of times. So it's really cool to see this making an appearance. The Biting Ruse are also really cool. So just being like functionally 0 for 4 on the Stubby's turn and potentially like a 0 for 5. That also makes like 1 or 2 on the back end is really cool. Command Conquer and Erase Face both very funny. Probably into Dio or something, anything just to keep Dio off like super heavy hands. And then what else do we have? We got, oh, this is like probably the biggest innovation, which is the Tempest Palm Gust Wave. So I think this is being run, if you actually kind of, hold on, let me see if there's like a way to pull up, maybe keep the card a little bit bigger. I don't know if that's big enough, but I think one of the innovations actually from this, like the Zen stuff, is people have been running yellow Tempest Palm Gust Wave. So mainly this is a Stubby's target, right? So it's basically 0 for 3 go again. You have to play it on Chain Link 3 or higher though, so it's like a little bit more awkward. But what you're getting is like a better rate Descending Gust Wave that also costs 0. That's also a 0 for 3 that has go again. And that's also like the stat line on this card when you compare it to Descending Gust Wave actually makes a lot more sense, which is really cool. So like Tempest Palm Gust Wave, replacing the blue Descendant, like you lose the Transcend starter obviously, but you're gaining a lot of additional points in stats, which is really cool. I actually do really like this Tempest. So these are basically taking the place of like the blue Descendant. So if you'll notice in like the main deck, there's no like blue Descendant or anything, so that's really cool. And then we're also still seeing like Maul, Salt the Wound. Tiger Eye Reflex is interesting to me. This doesn't really feel like an LL card, but there's probably like a decent like I'm trying to think what you actually run this into. You maybe run it into like Chain or something, because like Chain has like the widespread destructions and stuff like that. So like maybe just decks that are trying to like blow up your arsenal or like assassins or whatever, like this card maybe gets a little bit better. But yeah, overall like still just like a really cool list. One of Breed Anger. I don't know. Like this seems like very, very close, but it's very like different. Like there are a lot of like really cool optimizations I'm seeing in this list. So the one card actually that caught me, I think the most tough card was Blue Plunder Run. Because I think that purple Discord was very sold on this card being kind of like bad, and then like one of the people who ran Plunder Run and like did pretty decently in like an LL tournament said this card was bad. I thought this card was bad. Just because like drawing random cards in Zen is like sometimes really awkward. The stat line is pretty bad. It's like 0 for 2, 2 block, and then like only sometimes do you get the extra card, which is a little bit. But like I think it still kind of does make sense. Like 0 for 2, draw a card, Transcend starter is still like pretty decent. I don't know. I'm still like borderline this card. I kind of am still like a non-believer, but like obviously you win a calling with it, like that still feels pretty good, right? It can block through Dominate. Sorry, which card are you talking about? Block through Dominate. Oh, Tiger Eye Reflex. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. For yes, for like Starvo and stuff. That makes a lot of sense. Yes. So other piece of tech. So Warmonger's Diplomacy. So this is actually Sunny's deck. But let's actually see if we can find Cody Williams' deck. So I don't know if he top 8'd, so we only have like the top 8 deck lists. Yeah, the Tiger Eye Ambush can get around Dominate. But yeah, the one piece of tech that I think I forgot about, or at least I wasn't planning for how prevalent Dio was gonna be. Like I knew Dio was like a top 5 deck. I didn't know how consistent it would be, especially since a lot of the top decks are like pretty disruptive. So like if there's a disruptive deck, it can probably prey on Dio somewhat easily. But this Rounds on Me also seems like really good Dio tech, just like being able to stop how wide they're going, especially on their huge like 100 damage combo turn. Like it might not matter actually at certain points, but like if you can like double this Rounds on Me, like maybe this is even like a 3 of or something, but like taking Dio off like 15 damage on a blue is like probably pretty reasonable, and like the Warmongers also I think help with that quite a bit. But yeah, if anyone has Cody Williams Zen list, feel free to like post in the chat. I don't think it's. Let me actually see. Let's see if Cody. I don't think he made a top 8, right? But yeah, Cody Williams is a very good Zen player. I was a This Rounds on Me believer in Kasai for so long. Yeah, I don't think the card's like bad. It's just more so like the trick with This Rounds on Me, at least like I played with the card a lot, especially in like the early days of Zen. The trick was always trying to make it so that your opponent's not just like blocking out into you, as opposed to just like you want to catch that, you want to force them to like play through it basically, right? So if you can like do This Rounds on Me towards the end of the combat chain or towards the end of your turn, it gets a lot better than if you're doing it before your turn is starting, right? Because then your opponent just like has additional cards to block, and then like it makes your numbers kind of work. Like you time walk your opponent, but you're not really like gaining anything, which feels a little bit awkward. Like the card's still good. It's just like very clunky depending on, but like in LL, I think it makes like a lot more sense. Okay, let's take a look. So obviously we got some of the top 8 deck lists as well. So lots of Cinder. I'm actually kind of curious to take a look at Michael's Cinder list. See if there's any like new kind of things going on here. But yeah, This Rounds on Me is pretty. It's pretty funny with That All You Got. Oh yeah, true. Because you can This Rounds on Me, That All You Got, like reduce the cost. It's kind of hilarious. Let's take a look at the Cinder list. See if there's anything spicy. So yeah, take up the tempos, shelters. No Warmongers, thank God. Oh, I'm so sick of seeing Warmongers in Syndra. But it looks like we got like 7 poppers for Prism, so Prism I think is making like a pretty reasonable comeback, so like having the sideboard slots for that makes sense. Art of Dragon Scale is also quite funny. I think this is like mirror tech, if I'm not wrong. You basically are just trying to like blow up your opponent's book knives, and then it makes their math a lot worse. Lots of Hunt the Hunters. What else we got? Loyalties. Yeah, it just seems like a pretty stock standard Cinder list. I'm hoping that this becomes like the model Cinder list for a bit, just so I don't have to worry about a Warmonger's Diplomacy. Oh no, maybe I do. Okay, sorry, I didn't scroll down far enough. Okay, maybe I still do need to potentially worry about it. Yeah. I think I was missing the pitch read. Okay, fortunately we're not running it, so that's at least nice. One yellow brand, also very spicy. Yeah, but it seems like pretty much just stock standard Cinder list. Nothing too crazy. Let's take a look at some of the. I'm actually kind of curious. Gravy lists. We got quick dodge. Okay, equipment looks normal. Oh, I don't know if you all saw in like the top or the finals games, but like the double swell brick on, was it the last game? Like that was brutal to watch. Like I think he bricked off a swell off the top, drew into the swell, bricked off the second swell or something like that. That was like a crazy thing. Lots of allies. So we got Rigger, Sawbones. I don't actually know. No, this actually looks like pretty standard for like ally count. I guess like the 2 additional Ankas I think are in some, like I've seen these get cut in like some lists. Now let's take a look at anything spicy here. Okay, for the most part, it just looks like standard gravy list. Only 2 fearless also, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know if like triple fearless is like actually real. It feels like 2 is probably like a healthy amount. All right, what else do we want to look at? Oh, the prism list. I actually do want to look at this. This was actually kind of sick. No yellow gem in the prism list. Oh no, no riches in the gravy list. That actually kind of does make sense as well. All right, let's take a look at this prism list because the temptation to play prism is always around. So, ooh, angelic attendant finally making an appearance. I don't know if this has actually been like in prism for a while, and I just like have not been catching up. But triple angelic attendant, it feels like a little bit new to me. Oh, the Prism just posted their list on Twitter with sideboard. Yeah, if you want to link it, feel free. I'm kind of curious. We can maybe take a look at like the sideboard as well because I'm kind of curious like what the Command and Conquer is for. Like that's the one card that kind of like stands out to me. Like maybe it's just for like Cinder or whatever. We also got like Great Library. Yeah, otherwise like seems pretty normal. I guess the only thing that's like really throwing me off guard is like the Angelic and the Conquer. Seems pretty good though. That all you got also making. I feel like that all you got is just like super necessary in Prism, especially with Cinder around. Feels like it makes the blocking math just a lot better. Yeah, but if anyone has a link to the Prisms list, I think this is Ian Zhang. Yeah. Oh yeah, they also played Marlin. Let's actually take a look at their Marlin list. I don't think I actually got to see the full deck list here. All right, quick dodge, base of the mountain. So pretty normal equipment. So the balance of justice is a little bit spicy though. So this one is running conk. Ooh, 2 return fire, seek and destroy. Okay. A lot of arsenal disruption here, which is also really cool. Like the inertia tokens and the seek and destroy. So maybe I think someone was mentioning this like when we were doing the Marlin LL stream a while ago. That like a lot of Marlins were actually replacing the like premeditate, take aim, like those cards basically with like more arsenal disruption just to be able to get through. Oh, you're not sure if you're allowed to post it. Maybe I can have Tegan, or if you want to like DM me in Discord or whatever, I can maybe try to pull it up. Black Hawk and LL and not in C. So I think the biggest. So actually, that's a really good question, Sebastian. I think the reason why a lot of these Marlin lists are running Conqueror in oh, let me actually like get rid of this like thing at the bottom. It's probably annoying. But yeah, message me on Discord for that. Yeah, but Conquer. Okay, so why is Conqueror being run in LL as opposed to CC? So first big thing is D-Reacts, right? LL as a format tends to run a lot less defense reactions just because like the chances of you getting like blown up are like super high, right? Like you can't really just like D-React your way through everything in LL. That's kind of like just the nature of the format. So if D-Reacts are bad, okay, thank you. Yeah, D-Reacts are bad. Conqueror gets a lot better just because like you're not going to have to worry about like your opponent just like D-Reacting your Conqueror out of arsenal. Another reason why I think that Conqueror is a bit better in LL is just because of like the card velocity. So if you're drawing more cards, Conqueror gets a lot better because you're able to like get the resources to pay for it, which is I think another kind of big problem in CC. I'm gonna actually be right back. I just need to like blow my nose real quick. 1 second. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Ugh. Okay. Sorry, it's getting to that time of winter where my nose is starting to act up. Okay. But yeah, so back to Conqueror. I think the biggest reasons are D-Reacts, and then you also just have a lot more card velocity with like how much card draw there is, basically. But yeah, super unique list. Yellow Tipple. This is also I don't think I ever actually saw this when Ian was like playing the games. Yellow Tipple is fascinating. Yellow and blue Tipple. Okay, so it means that we're just avoiding the red Tipple. I feel like that kind of makes sense. Like maybe just keeping these as like resource cards and also just like having the ability to like play off small hands. I think there are some cards that or there are some people in Marlin chat who are saying like Tipple is just like bad in LO just because like you don't have the what do you call it? You already have like a ton of outlets for it basically. Like you have the Art of Wars, you have the like you have a lot of outlets to already use your Goldfin Harpoon. You have like Portside, you have I guess this list isn't even running Big Game Trophy Shot. This list is actually opting to go for the Tipples and stuff over Big Game Trophy Shot, maybe because like the stat line is a bit better, especially on like Art of War, some others. So, again, I'm kind of speculating here. Oh, amulet, triple amulet echoes. This is also super weird. Yeah, some of these lists are just like crazy. Blue Swell also making an appearance, which is kind of nuts. How many blues are we running here? This is like, let's talk about like main board blues. You got like 10 here, 19, 22, 24. This is a lot of blue. This is like 30 something blues. Oh, amulet. Oh, Diotech. That actually probably makes a bit of sense. So you're preventing them from like playing like high octane Art of War. Okay, yeah, just like getting rid of cards I think makes sense. And then the ripple aways were also really. I saw this in pitch, but I didn't actually know what the ripples were for. I assume this is maybe just for like Viserai or something. Like Viserai. Who else makes tokens that Ripple Away cares about? I guess theoretically Dromai, although I don't think you really want to be doing this on Ashwings.
I don't think Ashwings are tokens.
Oh, they're not even tokens.
I don't know if Ripple Ways. If someone in the chat thinks I'm wrong, let me know. But like, yeah, I don't think that works.
Sorry, let me catch up on chat. Okay, so Pascal Wing says Elo has nearly no D-Reacts compared to CC, so and hitting a D-React in Arsenals just feels bad. Yeah, so basically that's like the main downside of Conqueror is just like D-Reacts, and then also you get more resources in Elo. Yeah, I don't think CNC like the CNC is that unreasonable in CC. It's just like I don't think it's the meta for it right now. Amulet could be for dash. Yep, Chain makes the tokens. Chain makes what do you call it? Soul Shackles. Yes, so that actually does stop Soul Shackles. Which it doesn't stop Soul. Wait, hold on.
Because it's about action cards.
Soul Shackle. Oh right. Okay, so hold on.
Chain just makes Soul Shackles from.
Yes. So actually, if you look at the wording on Rippleway, discard this if an action card would create one or more tokens this turn. Instead, it creates that many -1. So you actually doesn't stop Soul Shackles because Chain is making the tokens himself, whereas Rippleway only stops it from action cards, basically. Ian said in the interview that his response to playing Dio and LO was that he gets sad if they play Amulet, so he now plays Echo to make Dio sad. That's actually kind of hilarious. All right, let me actually pull up the list on. All right, from Professor. All right, I actually don't have a Twitter because it's a bad website. Let me see. Okay, maybe don't actually have the deck list. Try to see if there's a way to like get the link, but probably not. All right, if anyone has like actually Ian's like deck list with Sideboard, feel free to send me that because I refuse to make a Twitter account or have one. Oh yeah, send me the deck list if you want. Okay. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and move on then. So take a look at some of the other deck lists. Let's take a look at let's see how the Verdance lists have evolved. I'm kind of always curious to see like what the current fad in Verdance is. All right, so Surgeon Aethertide making a comeback. Burn Bear, we got Trees. Someone was saying something about like Pulsing Aether Life not being as good. Oh, we can actually let me take a look at the deck list now. Okay, Prism deck. Okay, let's take a look at this Prism list. So this is Ian's Prism. All right, let's take a look at Sideboard. So what is Syndra? Okay, so Conqueror is for Syndra. That does make sense. I'm actually kind of curious if we look at the matchups. Where does Conqueror come in? Okay, so Command and Conquer also comes in for just any aggro plan. Comes out in the Aura plan. Goes into Dio. You play into Verdance. No, okay, you cut into Verdance and you probably do more of the. I'm actually kind of curious what the Verdance plan also looks like. So Verdance, it looks like you're kind of doing maybe a hybrid. So what are you running? It looks like you're doing like maybe some kind of hybrid between the Aura, like the Red Herald's plan, and then also running a bunch of the Auras. Actually, It's not really even that many auras. I guess it's just Merciful, Genesis, Passing, Pierce. Yeah, it's not like a. I mean, I guess it's just like the normal suspects of auras, right? Nothing like too angelic. Also interesting. If this list is really cool, I'll probably try this list out at some point. But it seems really neat. Yeah, seems pretty sick. All right, let's take a look at some of the other lists. So I think we're looking at this Verdance list. I don't see anything too spicy in this Verdance list. It seems like pretty normal. Like you have some Gravy Tech, React Pile, Light Up the Leaves, Burn Bear. Nothing too like. I feel like the Verdance list has kind of already been solved at this point. Take a look. Look at the Starville list. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Oh my god, look at that equipment. 15 equipment. Jeez. Kind of crazy. Alright, we got the Crippling Crush. Alright, so we're doing more like the decomposed kind of style. You saw Jarl, which I think is pretty popular. Yellow Winter Spite also making very interesting. Yeah, so I think like most of the these Tarvos have been kind of gravitating towards this more like Earth plan, which I think makes a fair bit of sense. But yeah, this equipment suite is like kind of wild. I don't think I've ever seen a. I don't know, like I maybe I just like don't play a lot of heroes that like have like very high equipment loads, but like 15 equipment is a lot of equipment. Kind of wild. Okay, let's take a look at some of the other ones. I was curious what the chain lists are also looking like. I've wanted to play Chain for a while now. I just was kind of under the impression that he was bad, but apparently this weekend kind of proved he's pretty decent. Oh yeah, Chains of Mephitis coming in for presumably Dio. If you have not seen this card is also kind of nasty. So it prevents. Let me actually see if I can just pull it up on Chains. This is actually like one of the main appeals I think to playing Chain in LL is just getting access to Chains of Mephitis. So you may place from a branch node if you do it enters with the Doom counter. If a hero, basically the line of text you're worried about here is if a hero would draw a card during an action phase, instead they banish the top card of their deck, and then you may play it this turn. So it kind of does. It like limits the resources that some decks have access to, but like it also just like either this card like does something or it does nothing. Like it does something very real into like Marlin, for instance, right? But into like especially the more zero cost like Dio decks, it's like a bit weird because they can still like play those cards out of banish basically. So like it's basically for decks that want to be drawing cards to then use them to like pitch and stuff, which is kind of weird. Hey, Ellie Bird says, "Hey, play Fi." Okay, Ellie. All right, don't spoil it, but we're gonna try to set up a video at least sometime in the next like week or so, to play some Fi. But that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm holding off on that until we set up that video. So not gonna play Fi today, but we are gonna probably do that at some point later this week, or later this week, next week, somewhere around then. But yeah, the Fire Run. I don't know if you've seen Ellie's. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh yeah, it does stop the Dio for deck from playing Art of Wars. Yeah, that's also very real. For Chains of Mephitis, which is I don't know. This card is just very cool. Let me actually pull up Ellie's Fi list. We're gonna talk about this list like later in the week. But I think it's cool to at least show it off. Let me see if I can find it. All right, I got your Blue Sky. All right, the Fi list. Again, I'm not going to talk about this too much, but I think Ellie went 5-0, or sorry, 8-1 in CC and 2-4 in LL during Worlds, and cashed, which is awesome. But yeah, this is a very cool Fi list that I think we're going to try out later this week. Again, I'm not going to talk about it. I think it's really cool. But yeah, I'm very excited that there are some other non-Syndra ninjas that are doing quite well as well. Oh yeah, Look Tough also just I don't know. I love this card. This card's hilarious. Michael, we're gonna go over the Fi list like later this week. I actually have we're gonna probably try to set up a video with Ellie at some point. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, again, super impressive Fi. Wow, fuck Prism. Yeah, true. It's very funny. I think those are your only poppers, right? It's just the Look Toughs. I don't know. This card is kind of hilarious. I'm actually kind of surprised. What was it? Hold on. There's a Syndra list we were looking at. Wasn't it Michael's that was running? Hold on. Wait, where was that Syndra list that we were looking at? We're running this one. Wasn't it running the other one? It was running chest puffs instead of the look toughs. Is this just because it's like a little bit easier to pay for it? Like, why not just run the 8 one instead? That's actually kind of an interesting question, I guess. Isn't this card just like strictly better? I could be wrong. But maybe in Syndra it's like a little bit cheaper to cast, and maybe that's why they actually play the 2 for 7. It's hypothetically, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Chest puff more resolvable in case they like just have full tempo. Yeah, true. So I guess that maybe that's the Fi advantage, right? Is you get to run look tough over chest puff. That's the real advantage. But yeah, a lot of cool deck lists. I actually want to see. All right, let's take one last look through and see if there's any cool ones I missed. Got Majin making an appearance again. Yeah, if there are any cool deck lists y'all want me to look at, let me know in chat. But I was just kind of like scrolling through a lot of these because I think they're neat. Okay, I think this is Battleharden Rochester now, so let me go back a page. I also like zoom out a bit. I feel like this. Okay. So let's take a look. Anything else spicy? Did you see Majin's wheelie? No, I did not see Majin's wheelie. That's hilarious. Didn't he like break his foot like right before the finals or something like that? Or like or was it during like Swiss or something like that? But yeah, that must be a very funny picture. Oh, we also got Floor in here. KO Armed and Dangerous. Let's actually this is the 1 KO list. Take a look at this. High pitched Hal. I've been seeing a lot more high pitched Hal actually recently in just KO lists, so it's kind of cool that some of the Super Slam cards are seeing play. Oh really? They only cut to it like 12 times on top 8 Sunday? Oh really? Oh no. His leg was removed surgically? I would hope not. Majin is so committed to the story time to be a wacky story. Yeah, that's true. He's just farming content clearly. Very funny. But yeah, Vigorous Smash-Up. That's also another card I feel like that's been seeing a lot more play in these KO lists. Is just like making the extra vigor to help like pay for cards is pretty cool. Triple Fearless also is like kind of funny tech. I don't actually know like who does dominate now. I feel like it's just probably like a 3 for 5 with like minor upside. I don't actually know what the Fearlesses are for. I'm trying to think if there's any like real hero that does like dominate in the format right now. He texted in the team chat like 3 hours before his flight, "Hey, just tore my Achilles playing volleyball. Can we order some crutches to the Airbnb?" Oh my god, that's so funny. Well, I hope he feels better. I'm assuming he's probably recovering fine, but yeah, that probably is a nightmare. I hope World Tour Weekly camera is set at a specific height and he'll be very small. That's very funny. Okay, but yeah, some cool KO developments. Nothing like super crazy here. I think it's just like the No Fears, and then I guess like the No Fears and the High Pitch Shallows are like kind of unique, and then also like the Smash Ups are pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and play some games. So I don't know if you also saw this. So I'm gonna let Taylor talk about this list before I like actually use his list directly. But Taylor Crawford, I think, was doing quite well with CC Marlin, so I actually want to kind of try that out. So this is not his deck list. Let me actually see if I can pull up his deck list. But again, I don't want to play his deck list on stream just because I want to give him the opportunity to like play it out and stuff. But I will go ahead and post it since he didn't make it public. Let's see. Okay, I found it. Go. Yeah, this was, I think, Taylor's CC list. I think he actually shared it with me before World. So I have kind of been like putting off like talking about this list because I think it's very cool. But yeah, we're not going to go over like too much. I think it's like very similar to a lot of lists that we kind of covered on the channel. I think the main differences are basically like Toxicity, Hamstring Shot, and Widowmaker are like the 3, I guess, kind of new cards. And then also like Honing Hood for some matchups, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is basically like the new. Again, I'm not gonna like talk about it too much. Again, I'll probably let Taylor kind of like make a video at some point. But this list is pretty cool. And I do actually want to try out. So the one card I do want to try out today is the Blue Toxicity. So we're gonna try to play that in our list. Let me see. I'll like catch up on chat real quick. Oh hey, hello Root. How are you doing? Just a quick question. Why 1 quiver? Is it because of space? Okay, oh, have a good flight, Ellie. Yep, I'll see you around. Uh, so just a quick question: why one quiver? I think it is because of sideboard space, Michael. But again, I'll let Taylor kind of talk about that. Again, Taylor probably is gonna make a video on this at some point. So again, I don't want to go like too deep in the list just because like I want Taylor to basically talk about it. Oh, cool. Does this mean I get to use my Cold Flow Hood? Yep. So I think Honing Hood we've kind of talked about, but this is basically like anti-Warmongers tech. So like some Syndra's have been running Warmongers, so what you can do in that matchup is basically run Honing. Like any matchup where you're worried about Warmongers, basically, you can run Honing Hood in. I think it's mostly just Syndra at this point, but I guess also Fi to some extent. Let me actually look and see like what matchups we bring the Hood in. Kind of curious. I think it's just Syndra. Let me double check that though. Honing Hood, Honing Hood. I think it's literally just Syndra. Oh, okay. Well, I think actually the sideboard is like not. I'm pretty sure you bring it like almost exclusively in Syndra. This mean I get to yeah. So is Widowmaker finally good? So this is a card. Actually, I think we had a video a while ago. Let me actually see if I can pull up that video. Where I was talking about Blue Widowmaker. I also love this card a lot. But we're not gonna play it today. But I think this card is also like secretly really good. Let me see if I can actually find that old Marlin video. I think I called it like I'm already Widowmaker or something like that. Yep, here it is. Okay. Let me actually pull this up. Actually don't see that. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, so let me actually refresh. Yeah. So let it be known that I think I'm the first person to guess correctly on the I'm already Widowmaker tech. So I think this video, go back to it. I think we were running Blue Widowmaker. I don't know if you can see it kind of there in the background. But yeah, Blue Widowmaker, I still kind of a believer in this card. This card is like pretty good. It also does a little bit rely on your opponent not reading Widowmaker, but I think the stat line on it is still like pretty good. Still really awkward in like stuff like Stormstriders where they can like block 0 and then block with another card in hand, and then that reduces like the power of it or whatever. But still like pretty decent stat line, and also is kind of annoying for Durex and stuff. But yeah, this card's really cool. So anyways, the tech that I want to talk, so again, we're not going to talk about Taylor's list too much. Again, I want Taylor to be able to talk about like his run, his deck list, that kind of thing. The one thing I did want to steal from Taylor's deck list though is I want to try out Blue Toxicity today. So this is, I think, the tech that is the most new for Marlin. So basically, this is kind of taking the place of Lace with Bloodrot, which is like very similar stat line. Basically, red 0 for 5 versus blue 0 for 3. The one downside, obviously, of Toxicity is that you don't get the front-loaded buff. You have to actually hit with the attack you're doing. So a lot more often than not, you're going to be pitching this card, so that means we're kind of going up to like 32 blues. But this is the card that I did want to actually try out today. And then I think I've kind of kept my sideboard relatively similar. I think I've gone back to like the Saltwater Swell drop the Anchor plan as well. So I want to try go back to like doing this as a gravy strap. And then also I'm throwing, I think, Coding in the board as part of the Syndra tech. But again, Toxicity I think is the one card I want to try out today. Again, we're not actually including the Widowmakers in this deck list, although I think you can also just like put those in over the drill shots as well. But yeah, this is what I want to play today, so let's go ahead and grab some games. I've also, just as a side note, again, I've not been playing like a ton of, I don't know, I've not been like super invested in CC recently. I'm mostly just like kind of like bored, I guess, of the like the Syndra Gravy Burns Triangle is like kind of, I don't know, it's been around for a while, so it feels like a little bit boring, at least to me. I don't know if people in chat feel like pretty similar, but that's like why I feel like CC has been feeling stale to me recently. I don't, do people in chat kind of feel similarly? Like I feel like Silver Age is like a brand new format. There's like a lot of like things to discover, it felt like, whereas with like CC it's like the same format as like a couple months ago. LL also feels like pretty exciting because there's like a lot of exploration to do there as well. The thing I think about every time I see Marlin cards, does anyone get annoyed that the card is not called Gild the Tip? Ooh, actually, that's a good question. Yeah, I feel like it should be Gild. Like, Gild is like to make golden, right? Gild. Definition, right? Because that's like to cover thinly with gold. So maybe it's the thinly part of it. Maybe they're covering it with a ton of gold. So I guess that looks like a pretty. I think it should be Gilded Tip, right? A translation error. But I agree with you, Draconic Ash. I think it probably should be called Gilded Tip. I feel like would go a little bit harder. Always thought Widowmaker sounds good on paper, but sadly never really found its way into any deck of mine. So I think like the red Widowmakers feel pretty bad, but like the blue ones are a little bit more reasonable just because like they're low opportunity cost to include in your blue base. You can pitch them, stuff like that. Translation error from English to English. Yeah, maybe New Zealand English is a little bit different. Maybe it's just a pun on gold and guild. Yeah, I don't know, but I think guild would also probably be grammatically correct, right? I don't know. I'm not an English major. I'll leave that to Lupine. I was surprised by how much exploration there came to be in LL. It felt like there was a lot of Doomer discourse. Yeah, like I actually okay. So so I think we did like a video recently. We were talking about like LL is actually fun, right? I think I still kind of stand by that. It's still like a format that I think is so okay. So how do you determine this may be like a theoretical question, right? But how do you figure out if you're having fun something, right? So like I feel like for a card game, there are a couple like components that you can like kind of break down fun into, right? And I think one of the biggest things is like deck viability, right? So like that's one of the things I look for is like as a sign of like a healthy like game environment, right? Is if there are a lot of options that are all very mechanically unique. And I feel like we saw that in LL, right? Like if we look at, let me go back to like the deck list page, right? But if you look at like some of the deck lists, like let me actually search calling. Actually, is there calling? All right, maybe I ruined the search. 1 second. All right, let's just look at the World Tour calling. Okay, this is calling Philadelphia. All right, let me put this on the screen. Okay, maybe calling Living Legend. Let's see if that does it. Let me look. Okay, no. I think I'm going in the wrong place. Anyways, one thing I look for is deck variety. And the point I'm trying to make is, let me see if I can pull up the calling. Okay, maybe we can just look at it from here. But basically, we have Zen, we have Dromai, we have Viserai. So it's 3 decks right now. We have another Dromai, which is fine. We have a Kano, so 4 decks, another Viserai, and then it looks like 2 chains, so 5 decks, and then that's just represented in the calling. But if you actually look at the World Championships as well, we saw Dash.io, we saw Prism, we saw Marlin. Like the deck variety in LL is actually really like in a really good spot, basically. So like that's one thing that I look for in terms of like, is the metagame fun? And I think that's like why I feel like CC is not as fun right now, is just because like the viability is not like fully like, it feels like if you're not playing like one of the top 3 decks, it feels like you're kind of in a worse spot. Although we did see some like innovation with like Ellie recently, right? Like playing Fi at Worlds, which is really cool. So like there is still like a lot of wiggle room in CC, but like it doesn't feel like there's as much wiggle room as like LL, for instance, right? It feels like the deck variety, especially at the top, is like a lot better. There's an LL Armory in Philly for Worlds, and a local said this format is a ton of fun for once a month Armory, but I would never play this for money. Yeah, that's also a good point. I think that's why a lot of people also got soured on LL, is just because like you got money on the line, you got like pro teams who are like investing a ton of travel into it. It's like a format that a lot of people were dooming about after the Rosetta Thorn debate, rightfully so, because I feel like people were not super confident in like the balance of the game, or like I felt like the deck direction was not incredibly clear. But it does feel like there's like a lot of good deck variety. There's a lot of like interaction. It feels like there's maybe there's some decks that are still like a little bit like kind of need to be toned down a little bit. Like in terms of just like Dio probably does like too much damage. I heard like Dio was also like a logistical concern for the tournament. Like I think some people were saying that like some Dio games were going like 20-30 minutes over just because of one Dio turn, right? Where it's like they do their 100 damage pop-off turn, and then it's like they have to do a million decisions to actually get to the end game state, right? All right, I have the same thoughts for Silver Age, to be honest. CC, the format of the cards are made for. Any other constructed format has always felt dicey to me, as I'll play this one money for it. That's fair. I feel like CC is still like their bread and butter format, but the problem with like CC right now is just like it's felt like so I don't know, for the past like 6 months, it's felt like largely the same or like largely solved. Like there's still definitely some stuff you can like do at the fringes. Like I think still like Marlin's like a real kind of a realish deck. There's still like a lot of decks that can win. It's just like the top decks are like very consistent in what they're doing and they're very like dominant, especially at like the tournament level. So like I feel like the meta variety in CC is actually like significantly worse, it feels like, than like Silver Age or like LL at this point. That's just my take. Again, I know a lot of people still like CC a lot, but yeah, basically. But anyways, let's go ahead and play some Marlin. But we can still talk about it a little bit more. So one of the things I look for in terms of like having a fun format is, oh, let me actually hide my screen real quick while I log in. Second. All right, cool. Don't want anyone stealing my Talishar account. Oh, cool. I was already logged in. Perfect. All right, let me. All right, let's go ahead and play some CC today. Well, so one of the things that I look for is like deck variety. Another thing that I look for is like, are the decks themselves fun to play, right? And I think for CC at least, there's one deck that's very, very fun to play, or there's one deck that's like stand out a lot more fun to play than I think a lot of the other CC decks. And I think that deck is Gravy, right? Like I feel like Gravy, the decisions are a lot more okay. Playing against Ira. Second. I still want to go second. All right, so let's bring in Shark, Kraken, probably Tar Pit as well. What do we want to cut in this matchup? I also want like the Riches a little bit. We could also just like leave the Tar Pits out. I think a tie is also reasonable. All right, hold on. Give them a good look, have fun, so they know I'm not stalling. Let's actually like cut the tips. All right, I'm speculating on the sideboard here, but I think this looks roughly correct. Okay. CC the format. Yeah, okay, sorry. Read that comment already. But yeah, I think like at least my biggest problem with oh no, this is kind of an unfortunate hand. This is still fine. I think we just let them have the hit here. I think we maybe block like this. One funny thing we could do is like overpitch to the quiver here. Fortunately, they don't have a blue here, so they're not going to be pushing as much damage, hopefully. Oh, cut the can't say that on live. Sorry about that. Sorry, Root. All right. Cool. So this still works out for us. Little bit of an oopsie there. I think I'm actually fine if I want to try to get like a blue arrow here. Go ahead and just make our gold as well. I feel like Sleep Dart's probably not it though. Let's go ahead and just bottom both. Get a little bit greedy. Alright, Elephant's fine. Cut the tips, you can't say that. Yeah, very funny. Oh god. Alright. Good enough hand. Unfortunately, we're still like coming in with the yellow fin, which is a bit awkward, but still fine. I think we probably want to Arsenal red fin over anything. They are Ira, so they probably are. If they're running Oasis, they're probably running just normal D-Rex as well. See how it goes though. Yeah, but hopefully y'all are enjoying the stream. I know it's been a while since we played LL. I feel like my motivation. I'm so glad I didn't hook that, by the way. I feel like my motivation for playing CC has been like kind of diminished recently. I don't know why. It's just like I feel like I just get bored of doing like the same thing over and over. You know. It's not. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with CC. It's just more so like I feel like other formats are like more engaging to me. This is actually so. Tiki and I were looking at getting tickets for the Seattle Calling, and this is actually like the first time I've debated whether or not I want to. Oh, that kind of sucks. That's fine. Or is it fine? We can block 7 here if we want, and then just re-oak the red fin. We also did just pitch a lot of arrows, so I'm concerned that if we lose this red fin, we're actually going to be losing quite a bit. I think we're actually supposed to do something like this. I think this is the block because we want to hold on to the red fin here. Oh, is my latest list on? I can actually post it. So I wouldn't actually probably use this list because I haven't been like tinkering with it very much, but I can post it in chat. This is just like a modified version of I think one of my past lists that also is including toxicity because I want to try out the new tech. I think I'll probably work on a list maybe closer to calling Seattle. But anyways, Tegan and I were looking at tickets for that. And this is like the first time I've actually debated like not playing in the in like the CC events, which is kind of weird. Like I've actually kind of thought that maybe I might just like only do the Silver Age. Mainly because I feel like I have like a really good list going for Silver Age, and I feel like I've got a pretty decent number of reps on it. So I feel like pretty confident, at least in my like Silver Age gameplay, but not as confident in like CC because I think I don't know. Also, like I think the meta is like not going to shake up by the time that calling Seattle also comes around. Okay, what do we want to get rid of here? It's probably the sensor, right? Yeah, it's probably the sensor. I'll just let them have the cut throughs. Yeah, we're definitely going to be there calling Seattle. I'm just debating what events I'm going to play in, basically. Actually, the funny thing here is we could turn off their cut through. All right, let me catch up on chat. Maybe that's Alice's big plan. Make CC so boring and stale people actually want to play different for it. Yeah, I mean, it's a good strat. It's not like that boring. Maybe I'm exaggerating like a little bit, but like it does feel like we've been kind of like playing the same format for a very long time. I'm also hoping that by RTN season, the form. I'm not even asking for like. I'm not like demanding bans or anything, right? Like I think that's like kind of like a unhealthy way to look at it. Is like I need this ban for me to play. I'm not actually asking for that. I think. Do we want to give them a card draw here? I kind of feel like random Ira card is probably not that good. But obviously, they draw CNC off the top. I'd probably cry. Like I'm not like demanding a ban or anything. It's more so just like I feel like the format has been largely homogenized. So like having something change would be nice. Yeah, BNRs have basically been the primary source. Yeah, I agree with that. Primary source of meta shakeup since high seas. It's more so just like it feels like the top decks. It doesn't really feel like a lot of other decks have like great ways to interact with them. It feels like, but I don't know. All right, hopefully they drew nothing off the top. Ideal scenario. Random blue card off the top would be great. Could have also just like gotten hit by the sensor and just like YOLO whatever they name or whatever. Probably not correct though. I think here I'm just gonna blood rot in the Codex over pitch to do that. But yeah, I don't know. Like CC, it just feels. Stay at CC, it just still feels like kind of bizarre to me. I know there's still definitely some wiggle room, but I kind of wish it would change up like a little bit more. Alright, grab that Kraken. I don't think we're hooking this. I want to get through a little bit more armor before we start hooking. Any cards you think could get unbanned right now? That's a good question. Let me actually look at the CC ban list. Yeah, it's actually really funny. The Super Slam, like, actually take a look at the Super Slam cards, right? Is there a way to look at the expansion slots? Super. Like, what were the expansion? Like, Angelic Attendant was pretty good. Backspin Thrust. Like, there are definitely some good cards. It feels like the good cards kind of like boosted a lot of the top decks over really any like fringe strategies or whatever. All right, 2 Ratty Locals and a Sensor. Good to me. Triple Ponder, also very funny. So let's go to Arsenal. And I guess feels pretty bad. All right, Mark is saying, I've been overall unhappy with the design direction the game has been going. It feels like decks are too streamlined and all or most decks have had constant access to their game plan. Mostly through stuff like I think that's like a real criticism to have of the game right now, is that it does feel like so here's the thing that I think a lot of people have observed, right? Is that it feels like LSS does a lot of the thinking in terms of like deck building for you sometimes. So like with Syndra, for instance, right? Basically Syndra has access to like all the cards she could ever need, right? Because like that's just like it's basically just a red line deck. There's like a ton of like cards already in the card pool, and then there are more cards printed out of Hunted. So like Syndra basically got access to basically all the cards you could ever want. If they name King Kraken here, I'm also gonna claim stream sniping. But yeah, there is too much starts in play, stays in play power. You don't have to rely as much on like I think those are all like super valid criticism, right? Like it feels like a lot of the deck building stuff is like already solved for you, and it also feels like you don't have to work very hard to do something that's very powerful, right? It's like Syndra, you just get like plus. Oh, thank God they chose King Shark. If they called Kraken, I'd probably scoop it up there. A little bit funny. Oh, they are gonna play into the Blood Rod. Okay, we have tempo here, which is nice. But yeah, it does feel like a lot of the deck building like tension and stuff is like kind of already solved, which is like not great. But actually, there is like a world where you get greedy and crack 2 golds, but then we're like going off gold. I think it's probably not worth. Go ahead and just fire. I'm actually kind of debating throwing the hook on this. We haven't seen a D-React in a while, though. I think I'm not going to hook here. We're already going to get an extra gold here. We don't necessarily need like a 4th gold. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the top decks do have just a lot of like... Oh, it looks like they have like an Overcrowd here or something. Okay. Pretty mid. All right, SW says, I think a lot of the hero quests where they hit a threshold and then are Super Saiyan for the rest of the game have been actually undertuned, actually difficult to hit. Yeah, it's been really so like it's kind of interesting, right? Because like I think maybe like BIOS Update, I think in one of their videos was talking about this concept of like accelerating or decelerating heroes. I think or there's some video I watched. I think it was BIOS Update, right? It feels like a lot of the like, for instance, like Verdance is a hero that basically like starts the turn or starts the game with an extra turn, basically, right? In the form of Stormstriders and Bird Bear or whatever. And then you also have decks like Syndra where they start the game with like 3 free resources from like Blood Spatter Vest or whatever. It does still feel like there's a lot of pretty good opportunity Loan Shark here too. Yeah, BIOS Update. I remember I'm like 95% sure it was BIOS Update, but I didn't want to like accidentally claim it was someone else. What's the thought for King Kraken into Ira? Are they usually not subbed out for Tar Pit? I think you could run Tar. I've actually not played this matchup a ton. It's actually funny. The King Kraken's getting a decent amount of value on this dual threat, but I think Ira also does run Warmongers normally and just like the blue base, and also sometimes they'll run like random actions like this. I didn't really think too strongly on it. Again, I'm mostly just here for more so the vibes than anything, but I think an added benefit of the Krakens is that you do get a lot of the extra gold gen, which is nice. And I feel like Batter is like kind of mid. I don't know. I feel like you could probably like, it depends, I guess, a lot on the IR list. I don't actually know what IR lists are kind of doing. So they just have a Sigil here, and then maybe something in Arsenal. Right, Torrent of Tempo, Arsenal Sigil, something like that. I guess the question is, do we want to just pump our resources here? I think we probably do. Now let's go ahead and just like dump a bunch into our gold. But yeah, King Kraken, I think I didn't really think through it too hard, but I think just like having the additional harpoon is sometimes quite nice. All right, let's go ahead and start cracking some gold. So let's start by pitching the Sunken here. We might end up using our port side here to just refresh gold. Now the question is, do we want to send Bluefin this turn, or do we want to send the Redfin? I feel like they are pretty blue line. Or like they are running some number of blues. Like if we can hit the resources, it's probably more valuable. Let's maybe actually go full Tunic here, because that Tunic actually maybe lets us like port side. Salvage is fine. So let's now refresh gold with port side and then see if we can draw like one more buff or something. 3 oak, I think we can save for next turn. Let's do the bluefin, then Arsenal 3 oak. But back to the point of like accelerating versus decelerating heroes, right? I think that a lot of the heroes that we've seen, or like that we've seen be really good. So like I think Gravy is like Gravy and Verdance, I think, are accelerating heroes, right? Like you start the game kind of weaker, and then as you like build up your game. Oh, this is very funny. We're actually getting the Warmongers out of them. Hilarious. But basically, you start your game plan off like weak, and then eventually over time you get a bit stronger and stuff. That's I think at least the core idea, right? Feels like a lot of the recent heroes have been like they've had really good at either accelerating game plans or decelerating game plans. Oh, I'm so glad I sent the bluefin here as well. Okay, so yeah, we don't take any of those, but it's fine. All right, we're still in a really good spot as long as we don't get like randomly Warmongers from Arsenal here. We're in decent shape. Finally, King Shark as well. Oh yeah, it's double sigil, right? I knew that. I just forgot. Okay. What are we doing here? Let's start by tippling, I guess. But it feels like a lot of the recent heroes have either a really strong starting game plan, like in the example of Syndra, or a really oppressive, like accelerating game plan to the point where like a lot of classes just like cannot deal with it. It feels like looking at like warriors, for instance. Looking at what's another good example? Warriors, Guardians, like it feels like those classes are all playing this very like mid-range, like you're always sending the same consistent numbers, but like you always get beat basically by the decks that are accelerating super hard. Actually kind of am debating cracking another gold here. Maybe crack another gold, see if we can find another blue. I maybe want to actually keep the toxicity depending on how the hand shakes out. Go ahead and try something like this. Okay, so in this case, do we want to... So there is a risk that we do brick off reds off the top. We're icing 3 of our... We have 2 King Sharks in the deck. We have 1 3 Oak in the deck. I feel like our chances of bricking here are not super high. So I actually kind of want to get a little bit risky and pitch the Tox, but there is obviously pretty big risk to doing that. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Tox. Let's get greedy. Go ahead and hook. Pre-med. But it feels like a lot of the decks that just have like a more fair game plan can't deal with like the accelerating, decelerating thing. Alright, so we do technically have the resources. The question, it obviously feels like a little bit bad pitching the other King Shark back in the deck. I think it's probably fine though. Going off an Arsenal against Ira when they have 2 CNCs in the deck is also pretty fine. Send some big damage. Yeah, but thank you all for joining me. Today's actually my day off, or I got a random day off because I think I skipped Veterans Day last week. Or I had to work Veterans Day. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. Alright, we connect with the King Shark too, which is also really nice here. Alright, let's see what they got going on in hand. Okay, they got a Warmongers. That's bad. Then they have a cut through. Alright, so we are kind of just incentivized to block out as much as possible this turn, I think. I might be able to also demonstrate the power of the Warmongers 7-int play. Unfortunately, we just like don't have an arrow in Arsenal, so the Warmonger is going to be pretty brutal here. Rootbound block. I don't love that accelerating heroes tend to be on rate to start. That's also kind of true. It does feel like the rate there is like already quite good. All right, I'm assuming they're going to Warmongers me this turn. If they don't Warmongers me, then I guess I got. No summoning sickness on allies that come in and swing on rate is also... Yeah, like the ally thing is also kind of crazy. I don't know. I know Tegan is a big fan of the ally stuff. It is like a fun thing, right? Like to just slam a bunch of allies. I kind of wish that if I were to design like ally-centric stuff, I kind of would wish it was. I kind of would wish it would be like a little bit different. I kind of want to just like block this out. So if they actually just sit on the Warmongers here and they just play the cut through from Arsenal, we can actually just oh, they're just gonna pitch it. All right, we still technically had to do this, so this is fine. I wish there was a separate format. That's also kind of reasonable. So they're gonna cut through here. So I guess we should use the gold baited hook to deny the mask one hit. Basically, my plan here is to play out another Loan Shark pass. It's kind of interesting though that so like they pitched the Warmongers instead, which I guess makes a bit of sense since we're gonna play around it anyways. Hoping they don't have another one here, but I guess if they do have another one, we're kind of insulated against that. So good opportunity, I guess, for Tar Pit Trap to do some work. So here's how I would design allies. Actually, this is really good. I was thinking about this a lot in terms of just like I was thinking about this for like year-end review video, and the problem. So the fundamental problem with ally decks, right, is it feels like the allies. So I'm looking at like Dromai Dromai. I'm looking at like Enigma, and I'm looking at Gravy. Bittering Thorn's also coming in here. I think we just let the Bitterings go, right? I think we want to try to Tar Pit at a more optimal time. Yeah, so like the biggest problem with allies, right, is that they stay around for too long. They do a lot of like really dumb things. Okay, so they still have that cut through in Arsenal, right? They cut through. We actually deny the Kodachi hit here. Still really awkward though. So wait, does this actually deny the mask hit as well? No, it doesn't. It would have to. We have to like full cover that. They see and see us here. It's gonna get really awkward. I guess we do have 9 gold, so maybe we should just be like predisposed to blocking a little bit. Go ahead and Tarp it. So I'm hoping they don't have like a way to disrupt us too heavily here. So allies, if you look at like the problems with like Enigma, Dromai, and like it actually felt like Prism is kind of like the best way to interact with allies, although I will say that like Spectra, Auras have their own kind of like problem. But it feels like with Syndra, or sorry, it feels like with Prism, like she actually has allies that are rare, they're easy to interact, or there's like multiple different ways you can interact with them, and because they have ward, right? Like you can either swing at the ally or swing at face, and that presents more options. Prism allies that you have to like do a little bit of questing to actually get the ally like on the board, which is also like I think a positive. Like you don't just get it for free. We also might be dead here if they have like any follow up. Oh, weakest link. Oh, weakest link. Okay, I think we're dead actually because the weakest link. Oh no. Oh wait, they don't get the on hit from this, do they? No, they do get the on hit because we shit, we punted. That's on me then. I think I was trying to stop the okay, so this is a punt on my side. That's okay. I'll probably just scoop it up here. But yeah, I think in general it might have been better to block on the cut through, I guess. Maybe they just had the nuts. So be it. I think if we also didn't draw a Taya there, we actually would have been in a pretty good spot. Oh well, unfortunate. But yeah, let's actually take a break from the gameplay so I can focus on the ally discussion. So like Prism actually is a really good example of an ally deck. The only problem with Prism obviously is like the Spectra stuff, which is like its own separate issue. I disagree. You literally get them for free as an on hit for every hit. But like the problem is like you do have to actually like get the hits, right? Like and a lot of decks will try to like block out the heralds or like try to try to race. Like I feel like there's a lot more options with like you can deny Prism Soul if you're like a defensive deck, right? Or you can like deny like you can prevent them like you can attack it like Genesis. Like in terms of like the actual allies in Prism, it feels like they're rare in the sense that like you get 6 of them or seven of them total, right? And there's multiple ways to interact with them. The only problem I guess I have with like Prism as a deck is just like the Spectra stuff is like very hard for a lot of decks to interact with, especially like Action Point light decks. But like the allies themselves, outside of like Soraya, are not really that bad. It feels like at least to me, it doesn't feel like it's that bad. Also like the Heralds having like Phantasm makes it a little bit more like easy to interact with, right? But like if you look at like Gravy and Enigma and like Dromai, Dromai, you also, I guess, have poppers, but like Dromai had ways to like get around that with like Mirror Guy and also Chromai. So like Dromai kind of had a similar issue. It felt like to Gravy, where like even if you did have like the popper or whatever, it like might not matter based on like how the Dromai basically like set up their game plan, right? But for I guess like Gravy, for instance, right? There's only one way to kind of like interact with the allies. Either you interact with the graveyard, which is like very locked behind like the pirate class with like Sunken Treasure or Seafloor Salvage. So that's not really like a viable option for a lot of classes. Um, yeah, for the stat line also on the Prism allies actually feels like a lot more fair, right? Because you're only getting like 4-ish life, and they have to like pay additional soul to get the extra stuff. Um, yeah, the Chromite dust also for Dromai, like there are a lot of ways for Dromai to actually get around like the popping stuff. So anyways, like I feel like in terms of like actually being able to interact with an ally deck, like Prism is actually like the best example of that because there are multiple ways to do it. You can like starve them of soul, you can starve them of the Herald on hits, or you could just like go face and try to clear the allies. Like there's a lot of options there. With Gravy in particular, it doesn't feel like there's actually like a ton of meaningful ways to interact with the ally stuff, right? So you either have to basically like take your turn off to like clear an ally if you're like an action point light deck, or you have to like maybe like send 3 at face and like 7 at an ally if you're playing like Kasai or what. Like you basically like either have to deal with the allies or you have to ignore the allies. Most of the time you have to, you basically always have to deal with the allies. Like for most decks that are like playing, for most decks that are like playing in the Gravy, you kind of do at some point. Like there's no deck that in the game that I think can go like fully ignore allies except like Kano basically, right? Allies just need some sort of like decay counters, like items have. Yeah, exactly. So I think I was trying to get to that, right? Like Enigma also had like a very similar problem with like the spectral shields. It's very easier for her to make new spectral shields, and then she can also let the spectral shields get cleared, or like she can basically give up on them, reset up a whole new ward of like spectra or a ward of auras, and then basically just like continue the gameplay from there. So like I feel like the only like the problem is that a lot of the ways that they're designing allies is they're basically dumping allies on the field, which feels like it kind of detracts from like the back and forth gameplay and Flesh and Blood. Like there's not a downside if there's already an ally on the field, right? A world where we got Sunken Treasure as a generic could have been so beautiful. Just make it not give gold. Yeah, I think Chris, Enigma. I think Enigma is really close to a balanced illusionist. Going tall and going wide could clear both the board effectively. If you target them specifically as well, she'd have been okay. Yeah, the problem, like, Enigma was close, but the issue with Enigma, especially towards the end of the deck's lifespan, is just you ran every direct in the game, basically, right? So you can like prevent all your kind of like ward from getting cleared, and then like a lot of decks just like could not meet the damage threshold, basically. And especially like if you're able to send Mirror Guy with a ton of counters or get like a 10,000 year reunion, like there are a lot of problems with that deck. Basically, Mirror Guy also like a huge problem. Basically, like I feel like the ways that the problems with like ally decks is like a lot of the ally decks they haven't given people multiple ways to actually like interact with it, right? To be honest, I think it's good people must interact with allies. It'd be lame if you could always ignore them. It's just so hard to do, and you're still taking tons of damage while Gravy sets up. Yeah, like I don't want people to like full on ignore the allies. Like I don't think that's like maybe a good compromise, but I do think that there should be like some downside to either like spamming multiple allies at the same turn or like some higher cost that they have to pay to basically like set up their like ally boards basically. It feels like what a lot of the ally decks have gotten very a lot of equity out of basically just like your opponent doesn't have a way to deal with what you're doing, right? Like there's no silver bullet, there's no like counter card. Like I think towards the end of Enigma's lifespan, they did print like Jagged Edge for like Warrior, right? Like that, even that didn't make like a too big of a splash or whatever. Tegan is apparently saying in chat there's no issue with Gravy. Tegan,
it's fine.
yeah. Tegan's funny. Yeah, if you could target 10k or Mirror Guy directly, she'd be okay. Maybe a little weak. Yeah, exactly. Like the problem is like it feels like there's not multiple methods to interact with allies, and I think that's why people are a bit soured on it. But anyways, that's my ally rant. Let's go ahead and play some more games. Tegan thinks it's fine though, so I'm legally obligated to also say it's fine.
It's one of those things that to me it just kind of sucks to lose to, but like it's not super like and the it's kind of outside the realm of what normal Flesh and Blood is, and like quote unquote. So like it feels especially bad, but like it still sucks to lose to normal Flesh and Blood stuff. So like
Yeah.
I think it's just because it's like, well, that's not really what Flesh and Blood is. That like it feels a bit different, but it's still just like numbers and math at its core.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think Gravy, like, people wouldn't have an issue with it if the numbers were a bit worse. Like, I feel like with Gravy, you're getting an ally, and you're also getting, like, on, like, very good numbers, right? Okay, playing against Leviathan, this is actually kind of like a tougher matchup. Let's actually bring in, do we actually want to tie? Probably not. Maybe we just run the main deck. Actually, why am I at 61? Or am I missing? I shouldn't be at 62. Hold on, I might need to like go back and actually like look at my. Let's cut the gold tip here. Actually, this matchup is like surprisingly hard, especially with like Husk and stuff. Right, I guess we do have like big game trophy shot eye, so I feel pretty. I like normally I wouldn't want to attack into Leviathan, but I think it's actually kind of okay here. Right, we get a King Shark. I will take it. So we drop blue, fire King Shark. So like I don't really want to pitch this Codex. Maybe it's still fine. Yeah, I guess we'll just hop top. Discard, load it. Oh, are we running 3 Codexes of Blood Rot? Is that my problem? Hold on. Okay, sorry, I did not refine this deck list very much. 14 this is 10, 11. Technically, they could block it, and we should be getting value out of it anyways, so let's not go ahead and hook here. I guess we probably actually should hook, just because if they do give us all of the armor, it's probably fine. But you're probably actually fine trading like a beta for carrying a Skier. Yeah, actually, let me go ahead and correct the triple Codex of Blood Rot. That's I think that was from the other list. Okay, that looks a lot better. And I think I was probably running like 3rd Tar Pit or something. A Tar Pit. Oh, that's a War Pit. That is. Alright, Tar Pit. Let's throw that in the image. Alright, back to the game. Where are we? Alright, 14. But yeah, triple Codex of Blood Rot is probably a step on my part. I feel like Gravy has a similar problem to Chain, where his drawback to balance turns into actually just give him an extra hand, ways to throw crazy amounts of damage. Yeah, that's kind of fair. On one hand, Parrot seems fine. On the other hand, I dislike it on principle, as it's another sip equipment. Oh, you're talking about like Polly as ally design. Like Polly's like an ally, but like not really an ally, kind of. It kind of isn't. Like it like definitively it is like the type ally, right? But ultimately it like is kind of like just a thing that you have to like eventually deal 1 damage to, which is like it doesn't feel like it's an ally in the same way that like an attacking ally is, you know what I mean? Like it's more so just like a random like I think I'm fine with Polly as a design, right? Because like you're not really like it's not really doing anything when like it's giving you like a little bit of value in the sense that you get like the free crank trigger or whatever. But like beyond that, it's not really like winning you the game or like swinging multiple times or something like that. So, like I'm more fine with Polly. It feels like I'll just try to sleep third them. Take 10 here. But yeah, like Polly doesn't feel like an ally to me. It just feels like this like random extra point of health you have to like clear. Like it is technically an ally, but like it doesn't feel like an ally. Actually, we can't even really do this, can we? We can actually like Goldfin here. Goldfin fine. I feel like there's a Goldfin turn in here somewhere. Go ahead and crack a goal. We don't need to crack a goal, but I think it's still fine if we like get a blue so we can double codex. It's like kind of decent-ish value. Weird turn. Probably because I have too many Codex of Bloodrots in this deck. I think Gravy is hard to tease the ally part out from the fact that they gave him 50 copies of Belittle Minnowism after banning 6. That's also kind of a big problem. This feels like Gravy's resources are just like so unimaginably good. That's Arsenal Codex there. Actually, I probably shouldn't have Arsenal Codex. I probably should Arsenal the take game in case they have disruption. They'll be fine. They won't disrupt our Arsenal.
I think having heroes that care about blues is like a dangerous territory.
Yeah, having like heroes that can like their blues are like fundamentally on rate is a pretty big issue. Like the ability to like port side throw like a rigor mortis in the bin and then like swing that rigor mortis off like one card is kind of disgusting. Hard to agree with Tegan, yeah. I don't think Gravy's like that big of a problem. I think the problem I have more so with Gravy is just like how long he's like kind of been around, it feels like. It's kind of just, or we can actually catch of the day. Now let's go full greed here, I think. I'm surprised it's taking them so long to give us another Necro. I feel like half the issue with Gravy is the pirate aspect, and I want to see what the design space looks like outside of that. I think there's definitely some good design space. What I'd kind of actually want them to do... What I want them to actually do is maybe try to like rein in like the ally density or like how often the allies are like staying around. Because like that could be like really interesting design space, it feels like. I'm gonna do this instead, that's fine.
I wish that Necromancer. So it's interesting that it's like a dual class thing because like pirate's a class, right? Because it kind of means like there's not really like a Necromancer in the game. Like he's kind of a pirate first.
Yeah.
The Necromancer's thing's incidental, so it's like I'd like to see the Necromancer aspect of him banded upon with like future. Like I hope it's not an illusion. It's like it's always a dual class.
Azuri Joyer is asking if I saw the new Armory deck. Are you talking about Hala or are you talking about Reiner? I think they're both cool. Actually, Hala's an interesting one. I am concerned about that Armory deck, but I hope it's fine. And then 15 should be safe here. I'm concerned about that Armory deck for a couple reasons. Oh, the Reiner one? Oh, and Slippy, yeah. So I'm concerned about the new Hala hero just because it feels like the design space is weird. Like that feels like a hero where it's like maybe they're just doing that for after Dory leaves or something. Like I'm kind of curious how they're gonna make a mechanically unique warrior that differs from Kasai and also differs from Dawnblade Dory. So that's concerning to me. But if we're talking about like Reiner, one more warrior will fix the class, I swear. I was making a joke with Rob earlier. He said something about like they need to do something with Guardian or whatever. I said I sentence you to like 3 more Guardian printings. That's kind of how I feel about like the holodeck or like the holo at least is like I wonder how they're gonna do it. I hope they do have like some way to do it a bit differently. Alright, we get to take a Beast Within and Deadwood Rumbler. Oh, that's actually 6. So we took their Beast Within, and then we also get to see their take the blue out of their hand. That's kind of disgusting.
Give me more Labubu.
I should get you another little boo boo.
Yeah, I kind of want more.
Okay. Tegan wants another little boo boo.
They're cool.
Tegan thinks little boo boos are cool.
They're cool.
I think our opponent's trying to Blood Rush off 2 cards, but I don't think that's how that works, right? So anyways, I hope what my hope is for LSS this next coming year is I hope that they're able to tone down some of the things that they're doing poorly and then do some new interesting things a little bit better. My hope is just like I want the game to feel fresh. I want it to feel like there's a lot of like fair interaction. I I wanted to the variety I think is the thing that's been struggling the most lately. Alright, let's go ahead and catch of the day here, just because we get the freebie out of Arsenal, and we're gonna crack him. Have we seen a 3-oak yet? Not seen a 3-oak. Okay. Alright, I'm probably now gonna send the Kraken here. Alright, let's keep digging though. Alright, golden tip is awkward. Keep digging. Blue is fine. I'm trying to dig for one of the 3-oaks at this point. Alright, we have one more dig because of our tunic here. So if we get a blue here, that's also fine. Blue is perfect. Alright, cool. Didn't get punished. Little bit greedy there. But I do it for the fans. We gotta send a harpoon for 19. Reinar Labubu at Worlds 2026. I think that's Tegan's goal. Yeah. I hope they give Guardian 3 to 5 more yellow 4 blocks. Are you talking about for Sage? That'd be funny.
Kano Labubu at World.
Kano Labubu.
New Kano. Bill.
Yeah. That's Tegan's secret lair.
Wizard Labubu dual class.
Wizard Labubu dual class is a phrase. Alright, King Shark. That. Swing big. So they have the Blood Rush in Arsenal started. They pitch the Blood Rush. Here, a Leviathan might be a bit of danger. Oh my god. These hands have been disgusting. Fuck. The problem with Spectre Auras is the Spectra. If you give them health instead, I think it would open a lot more interesting design space. Yeah, I think that's also like a pretty reasonable solution to like the Spectre thing. I feel like a lot of the Spectre Auras are like balanced around having, I don't know, like you probably have to like, oh excuse me, probably have to like fundamentally like redesign the card a bit. I don't know, be a bit awkward.
All I want is Adult Blaze.
Tegan wants Adult Blaze.
I want Adult Blaze. I want her to be good, and then I'll stop playing Gravy and just play Blaze until Adult Blaze.
Yeah, that's what Tegan wants.
I was on like I will completely diverge from the I'm just gonna play whatever is good if Blaze comes out.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's like a lot of room for like I think the game's still in a fine spot. I think they're just kind of trying to figure some things out right now. Like I still think the game is like I still like the game a lot, and you know I don't really want to play anything else. But I think like there's always room for improvement, right? That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is like I think a lot of the play experience recently has been like kind of not like as crazy as like some of the other like LSS play experience has been. It feels like Adult Blaze would probably just be the same as Young Blaze. Maybe. I think the opting, like at least in Blitz, Young Blaze is actually quite cool. It seems like our opponent might have gotten got here. All right, yeah, Blood Rush and Arsenal Doomsday. I think they're maybe a bit over it. Fair enough. All right, let's see if we can get another one. How long have we been streaming? Oh god. Oh, about 2 hours. Alright, let's try to get one more good one. Looking for the best deck in format? Is that Marlin? No, I won't do that. So what do I think? I think I actually maybe kind of glossed over this. Let me actually look at the Reinar deck again. I know there are a lot of cool cards in it. Alright, let me make sure tabs are all. Oh, playing against DM Armada. Okay. Give it a second.
Hey, that guy's a
YouTube.
Yeah, that guy makes stuff.
Gotta make stuff. Alright. I think this is just our oh, we want
Like a real
riches.
type of guy.
We want riches, we want Taya. I think swells are also like semi-reasonable in this matchup. Give them a good luck, have fun. You can also cut this. I don't know, swells are like interesting. I kinda wanna like almost cut the golds here and just run the swells. Mostly for the ally clear. You can also drop one blue, like drop a toxicity, I think is reasonable. Could do like one gold a tip. I don't know. Let's run like a clean 60 and try this. All right, we got a content creator battle here. So someone go stream site DM Armada and then tell me what's in his hand.
All right.
All
There, hold on.
right, Tegan, pull it up.
Let's get that pen out the con.
All right, Tegan's gonna be spectating.
I don't know. Streaming.
He probably does. I don't know if he actually streams.
No, he's not streaming.
Okay, fair enough. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and turn over some crap in their graveyard. It's Black 9. I think I'm just gonna leak the 2 here or hold on to a Taya. If he does the fucking Bloodfall's Blade, I'll tilt, but it's fine. Alright, good hand. Oh, ooh, okay. Yeah, we're in this. This matchup is hard, but we can maybe do some work here. Fully expect this to probably end up getting blocked out, so we're not gonna like hook or anything. But can't complain about 13 with an Ataya on it. This matchup is hard though, so like we're gonna have to let's try to lock in a little bit here for the last game. All right, chat. Answer me this question: who's got better sleeves? We got like I think this is like the Gone in a Flash person. I mean, it's just some random lightning person. Oh, did they forget about the Ataya? Or maybe they're not forgetting. They're just pitching riches. That also makes sense. I think Zencat. I think Zencat's better. Oh, it's his OC Pirate. Okay, gotcha. I have an OC as well. Or I guess this is like a non-original content because we're copying it off the Zen face.
It's Will Zen.
That's Will Zen. All right, they did have double D react. That's fine. Glad I didn't hook at least. Yeah, Zencat is the best. You know it, Vitor. All right, double D react. That's fine. Oh, just do it again. Easy peasy. So we Codex, we get back. I think we're gonna Codex discard gold here. Could also YOLO. YOLO is like pretty suspect though. Alright, don't want Arsenal to trot along, I guess. Suppose that makes sense. Alright. So Lone I'm debating whether or not I want to greed this card. I hope we get a Cat Spectral Shield at some point. They're clearly in lore. Ooh, that'd be spicy. Alright, I think I'm still supposed to Codex here. We're gonna go off gold. It's a bit awkward, but we will get Arsenal. We could also pitch the pre-med, make the Lone Shark. I almost like that better. What if we play the Lone Shark, pitch the pre-med, and then try to set up some... Because I think setting up the Golden Kasai is actually like pretty important, and we're also going to end up getting the hook as well. Hopefully. Alright, let's roll on the 3 hook. Okay, perfect. I kind of like this play a little bit more than sending the pre-med there, just because like having a Lone Shark available to us is, I think, quite important. I think I'll open myself up to holding onto the pre-med. Alright, Tenya. Definitely a little bit weird. I think we navigated that okay, though. Like, I think setting up the Lone Shark there is actually pretty important in terms of just, like, velocity. Like, we're basically losing out on 3 damage, but I think that getting the guaranteed gold is a little bit more valuable. Okay, and we see 3 cards blocked. Can't complain about that. Like, DM Armada is, like, doing a pretty good job of, like, keeping us off stuff, but we're still not in, like, terrible shape. Orc Tome, sure. We haven't seen a lot of yellows hit the graveyard, which is nice, and we also haven't seen like any allies getting created. I'm a little bit concerned about Bloodfall's Blade here, so I kinda just want to put the hook in front of this. I feel like this might be value if we can deny an ally. Yeah, the King Kraken early is very, very strong. I agree. Yeah, but let's just go ahead and try to deny the ally there if there is one. Coming in for 3. They actually salvaged their gold. Very half gold gen though, so like maybe getting the 3 values like a little bit better. I feel like turning over a card in their graveyard is maybe not that high of upside. It does like prevent them from making gold. I think could also just like start cracking gold for some greed value. I think I'm actually probably just going to cash this in for the 3 value and play a little bit slower. Also still denies the Bloodfall is played, which is reasonable. Alright, it's pre-med. And then let's... I think I'm not even going to start cracking gold this turn. I think I just want to sit on a pile. It's fine. The Redfin. I think the Redfin's probably the strongest here, right? And we do an Arsenal of Tipple or the catch of the day. I think I'm Arsenaling Tipple this turn. Or Arsenaling the choice of Tipple or something else. Oh, sorry, we got our hook. Got our hook. Oh no. Alright, we might have passed on the hook. Very good. Don't forget your hooks. I'm a little bit rusty.
Rusty Harpoon.
Why not Yellowfin is because I think on average they have more reds in their hand than yellows. Like in this case, right? Like I think that like there are a lot of cards like Spoils of War, Slice and Dice, like that kind of thing. I think I'm gonna take the Godin here and take the spoils. But really nice hit for us. And that was kind of the logic behind Arsenal. I think I want the blue for pitch, so let's go on Arsenal the Codex. But yeah, I think there's a really good chance that in that situation that they don't have the oh, they already had a second spoils. Okay, fair enough. All right, gonna be a big turn from them. All right, so coming in for 6 and then a lot on the back end. Pretty good turn. We do have a nice turn coming up for ourselves, but it's still going to be a little bit awkward. I think we're just going to have to let all this hit, though. I don't think there's any real method we're blocking any of this. Although I guess it is a hot streak, right? We could try to like block 6 on this fish and deny 2 copper, which is somewhat reasonable. And we do have like the 3 and tunic thing. I think I'm gonna get greedy though. Let's go ahead and just let them have it. Alright, so now we're coming in for another swing for 8. Pretty good turn. Let's just try to crack back and steal their gold and try to disrupt it. Alright, let's start. Let's actually start with a tipple here if we want to. 9 copper would be bad for mitigating blood. Denying copper wouldn't be bad for mitigating blood. The problem is the only issue with denying copper there is like then we have a risk that we're not able to find like the resources needed to play our turn out. I don't think it's like terrible though. Right, let's go ahead and start with the tipple, I think, here. Just so we're keeping our gold pile nice and fresh. Right. Good. So I think we can afford to draw 1 more card here, especially since we have the extra seafloor salvage. We did refresh our gold, which is also quite nice. Port side is fine. Alright, so let's go ahead and just turn over. I guess we can turn over like a red here. Let's turn over spoiled, I guess. I don't think it really... Oh, actually, we can probably turn over one of our own yellows, right? Maybe it's a little bit better. Seafloor salvage ourselves, I think. Sorry, it's been a while. I'm still shaking off the rust a bit. All right, turn over our codex. It's been a while. All right, let's go ahead and crack in them again. Still are sitting on a decent pile of gold. So we do have that going for us. I feel like we're pretty likely to hit given the armor situation, but you obviously never know. So I was thinking about denying the copper for blood on our hands. The only issue is like giving 2-3 blocks there is really awkward, and then we're gonna have to like draw into a bunch of resources in order to make our turn work. Like we have to like pitch the Tipple and Tunic, hope we draw some number of blues, and then we're going like super low on gold as well. Like, is that worth the 2 copper? Maybe. Depends. Depends how early the blood in our hands comes, I guess. Alright, we do get to steal the gold, and we also get draw swords, blood falls. They don't have a vigor, and they also don't have tunic up. So I guess it's strictly better to just take the hit and run here and then block out the blood falls blade. So yeah, because we also don't want to put a yellow in the bin. We want them to pitch the yellow. Pretty good. Okay. DM Armada is he's in trouble here. No better way to phrase it. All right, so we do have to block this for 1. Let's go ahead and block it. We actually just give up Tunic. Maybe giving up the Sea Lice is actually reasonable. We do have the Tunic counter, so the 1 resource is pretty relevant. I'm actually kind of surprised he played it here. It's pretty good. Okay, so let's go ahead. I do kind of want to hold on to this Codex. So maybe the easy play here is to just do 13. You can also get greedy. I mean, we have a pile of... Let's get greedy. Why not? We're doing it for the fans. Swell is weird. Alright, let's just hit off Swell. Easy. It's just that that's why I'm the best! Let's fucking go. Alright. Casually just hit off your Swells. Alright, so now we've got our negative 2 for 3. Go again. Seems pretty good. Keep cracking. Lone Shark. So now we have enough to pay for everything. Let's not get too greedy here. We off the Swell. It's fine. It's fine. Let's go ahead and just, I think, do this, and then just send the Kraken and Arsenal the Codex for next turn. Now we get to use our Tunic counter as well. And just another casual 13. Love to see it. The codexes have also been, I feel like, really impactful this game. Like, the frailty tokens, I feel like, have mattered pretty substantially. Yeah, stealing gold is also really, really annoying in this matchup. That's what pirates do, though. Alright, so now I get to take the draw swords. Alright, so we got any like DM Armada subs in chat? So what I want you to do if you are sub to DM Armada is unsubscribe and then subscribe to me. I think that I think that's only fair, right? Like we've clearly established that I'm the better player because I'm lucky. I'm kidding, of course. Obviously, I think DM Armada's got some good content. Stealing subs is not exactly. It's just like gold, right? Exactly. You get it. Alright, I'm gonna try not to punt this turn. Okay, this seems fine. We'll pitch the blue here. Probably discard the battering bolt. One of our battering bolts, at least. Casually 3-oak him again. That seems good enough. We'll probably just load up a battering bolt for the next turn. I hate, like, arsenaling battering bolt, but it's probably fine. Codex one more time. Did we make a goal this turn? I don't think we did.
Port side?
I did port side. Yeah. So we did.
Buddy.
Holding my 2-month-old baby, and they said adult ways will boo boo. Oh no.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Post about it.
Yeah, you should post about it.
Post about it on Twitter.
Yeah. Or don't post about it on Twitter, because Twitter sucks.
Ask the 2-month-old what they think about politics. That's good for likes.
Yeah, it's good for likes. think we're doing a pretty decent job here. All right, the trot or the hit and run, doesn't matter. I hope DM Armada is having fun. That's what it's all about. That is a lot of damage, yeah. For what it's worth, I think they've had some kind of unlucky hands. Or, like, they haven't found their, like, blood on their hands to, like, punish us really bad. And, like, they've also not gotten, like, the allies out. Like, we won the die roll, which is also quite nice. I had to cancel their subscription to Baby New York Post last month. Oh, no. What is Tegan typing?
Oh no, I'm messaging our buddies.
Oh, okay.
I'm not typing in the chat.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. Now's the time to crack 1 million gold, though. All right, let's get crazy with it. Keep cracking. Casual gravy turn. That's probably good enough, right? I'm sure DM Armada would probably love another King Kraken right about now. Another casual 17. Average Marlin game. Or no, sorry, it's a 19. Sorry, I forgot about the catch of the day. That's my bad. Oh, there's the blood on our hand. Are we actually? Oh no, still not able to block this. Rough. At least it's not getting catch of the day. That is a lot of damage, Vitor. That's right. That's what it's all about. Sorry, did I say this was a hard matchup? No, easy matchup. Kidding. I'm kidding. This matchup is actually very hard. And I also think that we've been getting like quite lucky. Let's just bottom some crap. I like a pump or something. I think we still. Do we have another 3 oak somewhere? No, we've used all our 3 oaks. Tie is good enough. Redfin. Send it. Could actually like get a random arsenal if we wanted to here, but I don't think that's necessary. Keep hooking. Why is this matchup usually usually in this matchup, if they're able to get any number of allies out, typically like the biggest card for them is the Bloodfall's Blade, right? That's typically like the hardest matchup or like the hardest card to deal with because like Marlin doesn't have like great ways to like clear allies basically. All right, we might be losing hook here, but that's fine. We aren't gonna get many hook activations in this game anyways. Let's keep cracking some gold though. Let's crack one more gold off Tunic. Riches is, I guess, a free roll. Oh, so we're back at our pitch deck now. I remember did we pitch I and Riches next to each other? Or am I imagining that? Pretty good. Yeah, so the difficulty of this matchup is sometimes you don't find your Krakens early, and then that makes it a little bit harder because Battering Bolt is like not quite as good. Oh wow, they're doing a pretty good job of blocking out here. I maybe shuffle. I don't think this deck normally has a way to shuffle. Oh, you want a cat? There you go. DM Armada is doing a good job staying alive here, though. I will say that. They were showing off the disadvantage, I guess, of Overpower. Yeah, big cat, though. I don't know if people can see him. All right, let's go ahead and port side now. Refresh the gold. Kind of got him in a blocking pattern, at least. Pass here, Blood Rot. Fatigue is always an option for... So, a lot of these side lists will normally not be running as many... reaction cards, so like they can't always block forever, but I feel like maybe we're starting to see a lot more reactions here. We could still it would be kind of embarrassing to lose this at this point, but it's definitely possible. It's not outside the realm of things that could happen. All right, Outland Skirmish, Sharp and Sensitive. All right, we got the big cap. Okay, so taking either of those. You get a Plunder though, which is nice. Oh, Battering Bolt. Oh, he does have to play for the Blood Rot though, which is still pretty rough. Alright, the cat wants to go somewhere else. Alright, it's Loan Shark. Yeah, true about the Blood Rot. I forgot about that. Trophy Shot I actually kind of want to save for next hand. So let's go ahead and just Battering Bolt this. I'm going to try to save this for like big overpower to try to close out the game. I think now we're basically just like getting him to block out every turn, which is fine, but I do want the game to end sooner rather than later, and I think this probably gets us most of the way there. The draws have been very kind to me, I will say that. Still have, I think, another Battering Bolt coming up at some point. We're getting close to Fatigue for what it's worth, but I still don't think you can really Fatigue Riches. I've actually not been to Fatigue against Kasai in a very long time. But I will be curious. Let's go ahead and discard Gulpin here. Does this math work out? Do we actually want to... I think we're actually maybe supposed to just Trophy Shot this. Just Trophy Shot. So let's discard this. Kind of fine if we want to like just discard the Loan Shark here. Just send in for 12. Alright, at some point you'll draw an action, and then you will die. Okay, seems like we drew 3 actions here, so yeah, maybe that was the ticket there. Alright, so you gotta subscribe to me now. You can't subscribe to DM Armada after that. No, I'm kidding though, but like I think that was just maybe some bad variance on his part, and then also like I think we got a lot of really good variants early with the King Krakens. Which is like how you kind of can win this matchup, but like what makes this matchup like really difficult is just like if they're able to block out all your on hits, you don't find things that line up, and then you also have like just awkward draws, or like you get hit by like a Bloodfall's Blade and there's an ally on the board. But that's what makes this matchup like typically really hard, is like you're not always going to get like the Kraken super early. You're not going to hit the high roll super, like there are a lot of things that I think went very well for us in that game, but like this matchup is still like very, very difficult. Like especially if they like win the die roll, get to go second. I think it's a lot worse for you like in general. But yeah, this matchup is still like very, very hard. Definitely like not like it also feels like very high rolly depending on like what I draw versus what they draw, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think that's probably gonna be it for the stream today. So let me go ahead and just read through the comments, see if I missed anything. Hope you enjoyed that game, Vitor. I see you commenting a lot in chat. See what I got here. Memes. I'm just taking a look at our Discord chat as well. But yeah, Marlin's still a lot of fun. I still enjoy the deck a lot, and I think it's like one of the more fun decks to kind of play right now. But yeah, hope you all are enjoying. Oh yeah, thank you Vitor for the stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate it. I think we had a lot of good conversations about CC today. At least that was kind of like the theme for the stream. Unfortunately, we didn't get to play Tough Nut, where I think I put on the thumbnail for the stream, which is kind of funny. But I don't think Tough Nut's like necessarily a very good deck right now. But anyways. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed the stream. I'll go ahead and post the Marlin list in chat. Let me actually find it. I think it was this one. I grabbed this one. But yeah, this is a Marlin list. I think we're still tweaking it. I think I accidentally had a third Codex of Blood Rot from the Skullbone Crosswrap stream. So the second, I think 3 Blood Rot is probably a little bit too much. But yeah, I think this list is pretty good. Again, Taylor is probably going to put out a video at some point outlining his list. I just kind of wanted to copy a few things here and there just to like test them out. I think Toxicity was actually, I don't think we played. Did we play this card today? I don't think we ever had this card resolved, so maybe it doesn't even matter if I'm stealing some ideas from Taylor. That's fine. But anyways, hope you all enjoyed the stream. I'm probably gonna leave it at that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about like CC in the comments and stuff like that. Be curious to hear other people's thoughts on it as well. But yeah, I will see you all around. Oh yeah, also stream logistics stuff. We are also working on sending out the stream tokens for the 24-hour live stream, like the Marlin tokens and the raffle prize and stuff. We got about like half the envelopes already good to go, but we are still working on the other half. So if you're waiting on your Marlin tokens, we're working on sending those out hopefully by the end of this week, basically. But yeah, that should basically be it for me. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.